I'd like to show you how to put 6-point perspective on the sphere, which means you'd capture complete worlds, north, south, east, west, up and down worlds. I put what I think of from inside on the outside of the ball. But there's a certain system, like grid system, just like all the other perspectives I've shown. There's a certain system that fits on the sphere, and it's amazingly accurate. It if you literally look close at these, there's 3 sets of parallel lines in 6-point perspective, and it's pole. It works with poles instead of with straight lines. So in other words, all sets of lines go to 2 different points. Like a railroad track, if you think about a railroad track and you're standing looking at it vanish in front of you, if you turn around, you'll find it's vanishing behind you also. And that's what, like the red grid on this actually shows how it would go from probably below and would vanish around and go to a vanishing point on the back side. So I want to first show you how to put this grid on, or at least think about this grid being on a sphere when you're drawing on it. So I have a west to east point here, which is the red one. I have a south to north point, which is the blue one. And I have an up and down one, that's the yellow-green one, that's running through this whole thing. And you can see they just spray from the vanishing point over to the opposite side. Every one of these, if you're into math at all, every one of these is a greater circle. Every line would divide the ball exactly, and it separated exactly in half. So that's what we're going to do to start with. I'm going to show you, first of all, how to get to the points. The points, when you play with a blank, clear sphere, the easiest way I've found in the past is to get a sheet of paper like this that has points on it, and I have a little arrow on it and tape on it, and I tape it to the top vanishing point like that. And then I stretch it around the ball and kind of guess where the bottom is. You can kind of, if you look at it sideways a little bit, you can see it's got to be somewhere over in here. So what I do to start with is I mark on the piece of paper, and then I put a line like this and draw an arrow to it, so I know that's one place that it's coming to. And then I turn this a little bit, put it back on here again like I had it, with the arrow on the top, and stretch it around and draw a point again and draw an arrow on it. And this will work even if I've done up to 7.5-foot spheres. So I've got 2 points. I'm going to go way over on this side and mark this. Find the top again with my little arrow, project it around, and so I come about here. I've got 3 of them that are kind of telling me already that it's got to be somewhere between here and there. It must be actually about right there, I'd say. So I'm going to presume that's where it is. I'm going to take my permanent pen and I'm going to mark that as the bottom of the ball. Now I'm using erasable pen right now, so you can see I can get rid of all the lines. It kind of keeps it a little more clean. But there's the bottom of the ball right there. Now I can put my tape back on here and stretch it around. I gotta find the top again. Stretch it around, and I can make a mark on my tape, and I see how close I was. I was almost right on it anyway. So my guess was, I guess I've been doing this a long time. So that's where that's the halfway point. Now if you have, that's halfway around the ball, you can just take your tape, get the 2 arrows, put them together and crease it a little bit, and you know that's halfway around. So that's the halfway point. I always write a 1/2 on that, so I know that's what that is. And then I'm going to stretch it back again like this, and make a slight mark on it there. And then I'm going to move it a little bit and make a mark halfway again. These aren't accurate markings, they're going to give us a place to put the tape around the center of the ball. Then we can find the 6 equal distant points. We have the top and the bottom point. We need 4 points around the middle yet. Alright, one more should do it. And then we can stretch across. Okay, so we know that's the halfway point. Maybe do one more just so I know I'm on the right. Like that. Okay, so now I'm going to claim this as being one of the points right here. So that's going to be one of the points, and then I'm going to stretch my tape around from that point, around the center. And I know when I get I'm going to make sure this is running straight to point, what we just marked on there. So I know that that's the second point right there. I'll make that a little more exaggerated. And then I'm going to move it again from this point, running through that line and this line over here. That has to be the next point. And then one more point coming around here, keeping it on that straight level. This has to be the last point. So that gives you your 6 equal distant points. And I'm gonna accent those, like I said again, with the permanent pen. And then I will erase this. Once again. Like, yeah, I might just warn you that I spend like 2 to 3 months on it, on a painting. So if this seems like, oh, this is taking a long time, this is nothing. Just wait and hang in there. Okay, so we should have 6 points. I hope that shows up. I'll accent it a little bit. All right. So now, this is like the whole system of the 6-point perspective. You first of all really do have to get the 6 points as equal as possible. So going from there, I spray these lines out, and as these have to go, they have to come over to the opposite side. So you can use a tape to do this, or you can guess where they go, and they have to end up over on this side. So that line would run there, this line would run across, and you can see it ties in over here. And just a whole array of lines. I'm going to shoot across here. And once you get each of these lines drawn, and they project all the way around the sphere, then you move to the next point. And you do the same thing, like these have to extend from pole to pole, okay? All of these lines, or just enough of it so it keeps your head straight when you're drawing on the sphere. And then the next one, I'm gonna start the same thing here. And to start with too, you might do it in colors like I did this little guy here. This is what I'm actually doing right now, okay? Spread you can see the red is shooting all the way across over to this side to the red there. And the green is spraying all the way across. So it's any line there. Whenever you play with cubical space, any line, parallel lines all in normal perspective go to one vanishing point. In spherical perspective, that goes to two, because you're going in front of yourself and behind yourself. So you have to think a little bit different when you play with this. So let me go back to this one. And I'm going to just get all of this kind of spraying out so that it helps us remember where we're going. This is all done with, right now I'm using an erasable ink. And this ball, by the way, is a Christmas ball of like a 10 inch, maybe 8 or 10 inch Christmas ball. This one would spray out. And then I've sprayed it with paint that allows it sticks to plastic. And one on the top. I won't do this all the way through, but it gives you, it's actually the really important part of this. Okay, and then the same thing on the bottom. So we got, you see we've got, if we're thinking of this as north here, south is on the opposite side right here. I'm going to write it down on this. South is there. So south is, let me think, north, and I know this is east because I'm actually moving across like that. And that would make this west over here. And then this is below, this is down. And this is up above your head. All right, remember we're thinking inside out. We're thinking of this as concave rather than convex.